Hello and welcome to episode 40 of Dorki's Entropia Universe report. First off, do not worry about the sweating footage in the background. It is only there to illustrate what I was doing over the week, besides getting a disconnect every 5 minutes on some days. Once I am sure I made the point that I was sweating haters and forum trolls all week long, I will switch the footage to some mining or hunting stuff I did before I went on my current sweating vacation. Which just reminded me that I fucking forgot to make those amp crafting and mining videos I talked about few weeks ago. I have the gameplay footage ready to go, it just managed to slip my mind completely. Before we move on to the Entropia Universe stuff proper, I would like to tell you some unrelated bits of information. The weather here turned to utter shite. It was getting nice and warm, on some days at least. Way too warm for February. It was nice. One could go outside for a nice relaxing walk. Then nature told herself, nah, fuck this shit. And instead of, hey, the spring is here, she changed her status to, feeling cute, I'm gonna drown everyone in cold rain and make them sick with even cooler winds. Now I am sleepy throughout the day because the light is dim. The whole day feels like a really long evening, and even though it is hard to publicly admit this, it took me several days to come up with the bright idea to turn on the light during the day. So today is much brighter and I feel a lot less sleepy as I am writing this, trying to ignore the movement on the second monitor where Dorki sweats a hater. That monitor is connected to my old computer where I am running Entropia so that it does not crowd my newer computer's screen and hog the system resources. Anyway, let's get to the Entropia Universe stuff now, shall we? As I mentioned before, I spent pretty much all of this past week AFK sweating on Rocktopia. It seems that I am getting less sweat per day here than last year when I sweated the week Penelions on Siren. Perhaps it is because the haters I am sweating most of the time hit me more often. They do seem to attack at a higher frequency than most non-Rocktropian mobs. Or maybe I am just imagining that and the root cause of my problem is that I forget to turret the mobs and keep my sweating tool busy with the dry ones longer during the day. These require far less attention than the Siren mobs after all, so it is way easier to forget about them while I am doing other stuff. However, I still like this place for sweating more than the Siren Noob Beach. 10 to 15 minutes per mob over there versus 40 minutes to an hour here on Rocktropia. On top of that, forum trolls and haters do lower damage, so I do not have to wait for my health to regenerate every now and then. I can just keep on sweating all day long. About 500 to 1000 bottles of sweat less per day seems like a fair trade for the added convenience. The sweat gain is not too bad though. Most days when I do not experience frequent crashes and disconnects, I can gather between 3000 and 3500 bottles a day. Some days I do not have the opportunity to sweat from dawn till dusk, then it is less. Either way, I managed to gather 14,918 bottles of sweat this week. That brings my total so far up to 33,075 bottles. I do have some odd 12k bottles on Calypso as well, but I do not count those towards my current stash. I gathered those bottles some time ago. Anyway, the lower number of bottles for this week was mostly caused by disconnects and other real life stuff. The gain was especially low on the 2 days when I experienced the frequent disconnects. Obviously, with sweating skill gains being low as they are, I still struggle to reach the 333k total skill. I am slowly getting there, but my sweat-powered fart drive is incapable of achieving higher speeds. Although I did reach one milestone this week. I finally hit the level 34 sweat gatherer. Right now, on the morning of Monday, March 2nd, 2020, I am already 20% of a level beyond that milestone. I do not think I can reach level 35 before the next week's episode though. On the investment side of things, Arcadia Mundites are being their usual shitty self with only 2 payouts of 1 peg per deed over the week. However, the performance of Arcadia Underground deeds was fairly lackluster this week as well. AUDs paid out only 3 times. Twice they paid 1 peg per deed, and once the payment was 2 peg per deed. And even though I say this is rather lackluster, they still paid out twice as much as the AMDs. The return on investment is not exactly double though. It is a bit less than that. Arcadia Underground deeds cost about 68 to 70 ped these days. Meanwhile, AMDs cost $6 a pop in the webshop. That is about the equivalent of 60 ped. Crystal Palace shares paid about the same as last week, which is roughly 2 peg per share. My 2 shares gave me 4 peg in total. I am not sure if they are still paying out partial values, or if Mindark switched back to full peg only. I think I might buy a couple more shares once I sell my sweat at some as of yet undetermined date in the future. Anyway, the cheapest shares were selling for 19 ped 41 peg this morning. Meanwhile, the biggest stack of over 5,000 shares was priced at 19 ped 48 peg. The total number of shares available for purchase was 8,351. To conclude, I would be much happier if it was sunny outside. Also, I have many more videos to work on after I am done with this episode. However, I do not think I can manage to get any of them out today. Either way, my sweating in Entropia Universe is going well. So is my sweat gatherer profession progress. However, the total skill is climbing at a snail's pace. Returns on the deeds were nothing special this week, and I can already feel my second morning dump charging the gates. So thank you for watching. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, provided you have not done so already. Thank you.